The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning. Welcome to the Monday morning briefing from the National Weather Service in Wakefield. This is Eric Seymour, the Warning Coordination Meteorologist, and I wanted to start off with the satellite image of the United States this morning. So you can see a lot of clear skies across parts of the mid-Atlantic. We can see a little bit of the snow cover areas of the Northeast that have seen snow recently and now have snow on the ground as the areas in white with that aren't moving. So we can see we do have some snow there. We also can see the streamers coming off the Great Lakes that are providing some lake effect snow showers. And some of those are actually getting down toward DC this morning. So may have a little bit of light snow moving through the DC area as the inauguration isn't too far away from kicking off this morning. We also see the cold air filtering off the east coast of the U.S. With the clouds that are streaming off off the water. So you can see there's a lot of cold air in place. Cold front that came through us yesterday is now stretched out across the Atlantic down through Florida. And what we're watching now is the potential development of a winter-type system down across the Gulf Coast and seeing how much impact that could potentially have on the mid-Atlantic states late Tuesday into Wednesday. So let's take a quick look at the current temperatures across the area. Current temperatures around 11:30 or so this morning are generally in the 30s across parts of most of the Wakefield forecast area. But the thing I want everyone to really take a notice of is notice the numbers that are in blue. Those are our dew points temperatures, which gives us an indication of how much moisture is available right now. And when we get values that are down into the teens, into the single digits, really shows we got a very extremely dry air mass that's in place. And I want you to take a look back to the northwest, up across portions of West Virginia, and to the northwest, maybe even up into the Shenandoah Valley. Notice values are even drier. We got some negative dew points and temperatures that are up in the single digits. So that cold Arctic air, it's coming. It's going to get here over the next couple of days. So once we go down below freezing today, we likely will not see readings getting back up above freezing until we get to Thursday. So we're going to have a pretty long stretch of sub-freezing temperatures to deal with across the area. So let me jump into taking a look at some of the model data right now, just to kind of give everyone an idea. And we're going to actually flip back to taking a look at the precipitation type forecast coming up through the model. And let me take us back actually to looking at later tonight. So this would kind of be around midnight tonight. Starting to see precip developing across eastern Texas and portions of Louisiana. They may see an unprecedented snow down there across Louisiana and parts of the deep south as that cold air is really plunged all the way into the Gulf of Mexico. As we go through time, let's speed it up ahead, move into tomorrow afternoon. You see that snowfall really kind of increasing. So I think we were looking earlier, New Orleans is forecasted to have 3 to 5 inches of snow, and their record snowfall is 2.7 inches. So this could be a unseen event in the New Orleans area based upon kind of how things are going. So, again, this is going to be spreading up. Notice we really don't see anything in our area. We've got that area of high pressure still kind of nosed over the mid-Atlantic states at that point. So let's jump ahead another 6 hours, and we're starting to see that precip and moisture trying to expand up the coast. Now, remember, we looked at the dew points a few minutes ago, and we showed that the dew points are extremely dry coming into our area. So this precip that's trying to develop, it's trying to develop in an air mass that's very, very dry, which is going to be one of the limiting factors, I think, for us seeing potential for some snowfall. And as we go through time, notice the deeper purple colors never really make it through the Carolinas. They just really end up shunting off the coast and then eventually kind of developing, across ports of the Outer Banks and then shoving off the coast there. As we move out into time into Wednesday morning and Wednesday afternoon, pretty much that area of high pressure builds over the top, and that really brings an end to the threat for wintry precipitation. Let's take a real quick look at the dew points, and I think this will give you an indication of where things may struggle to try to develop. As we go through, I'm going to take us back in time, just maybe about 12 hours or so, get us back to about 7 o'clock Saturday or Tuesday evening, and notice how dry the air is. We're seeing dew points in the teens, even some single-digit readings across central Virginia. So we've got a lot of dry air that's in place, and we know them from what we've already seen in the observation. The dry air is there, and it's coming. It's going to continue to push into the area. As we go through the evening hours and get to about midnight or so, we do finally start to see a little bit of return of low-level moisture right in portions of eastern Virginia, northeast North Carolina, and that really may end up being the place where we see the best chances for precipitation. And then as we move off and the precip goes out, the dew points drop off as well. So those dew points are really going to be a limiting factor in how much precip we're going to get. So let's go ahead and take a quick look through. We're going to go through the briefing slides, and we're going to jump back here. There we go. We're going to hop out and hop back in here. Take a look at the key messages to start with, and we'll go from there. So temperature-wise, you're going to be dealing with some pretty cold air over the next couple of days. Like I said, once we go below freezing tonight, we probably don't go back up above until sometime on Thursday. We're going to continue to watch for potential for snow, and we'll take a look at that here in a moment as well. And then do have some marine issues to deal with winds for some small craft, and then also with the extremely cold air coming in, some freezing spray issues, and we'll talk about that as well. So looking at your cold weather advisory, right now it's really lined up across portions of the areas adjacent to the bay and then down into northeast North Carolina. And this is all really based upon wind chill. Remember, our cold weather advisory now can be from ambient temperature being cold or from the wind chill being cold. And tonight it's going to be based upon that wind chill value. Looks like overnight lows right now stay in the more into the teens, maybe just above 10 for most areas. But the wind chill is going to knock what it feels like in the area in blue down below 10 degrees. So that's where we have the cold weather advisory in effect for today. And when we get to tomorrow, almost the entire area will end up under a cold weather advisory. So this kind of shows you where those ambient temperature, this is really what it feels like temperature across the area. And notice it's really this whole eastern area that we highlighted is really where we're expecting to see those values going below 10. We'll have to kind of monitor to see if the Piedmont values, where they go. It's potential we could end up having to expand back into this area as well. We'll be taking an eye on that as the forecast goes today with the new data coming in. But right now, it's really this target area along the bay and in the eastern part of the forecast area. From a snowfall perspective, right now, this is kind of what we're thinking. Again, we're going to be trying to figure out where exactly this edge of precip is going to be, and part of it's going to be that low-level moisture. How much moisture do we have available? How much dry air is in place? And if we have dry air in place, a lot of times we just can't get that snowfall to the ground. A lot of times it may be what we call it may evaporate as it falls out of the clouds. So that'll be something we'll be targeting right now. Really, we're looking kind of a Williamsburg, Wakefield areas to the east being the best target area. Maybe up in portions of the Delmarva. That'll be something, again, we'll have to keep an eye on. But right now, that's kind of we think. Right now, we're thinking less than an inch. Maybe we get up to 1 to 2 down here in eastern North Carolina. That's our best guess. Now, if things go, if we kind of maximize things, we're able to get as much as snowfall as we possibly can, kind of a reasonable worst case scenario, we could potentially see as much as, an inch or two getting back into Franklin, maybe parts of Northampton County down toward Windsor, maybe seeing 3, maybe up to 4 down in Elizabeth City. Again, this is really a worst case scenario. I think based upon, what we're seeing with the amount of dry air and how strong this area of high pressure is to the west, I think this is kind of definitely a lower chance probability at this point. I think the likelihood is that dry air probably wins and really kind of shunts things off. I think if any place is going to kind of over exceed with this system, it's going to be down really in the southeastern part, maybe parts of Virginia Beach, parts of Chesapeake, and then getting down to eastern North Carolina. If that would be a target area for where we potentially could see, kind of a maximum snow amount. So, but right now I think, 1, maybe a 2 inch is probably really the best we're going to do. But again, we'll have to keep an eye on that and see. We've still got a day or so to see how much moisture we can get back up into the area and to see if we can get any more snow than that. So again, if you're looking at your probability of 2 inches or more, really you're looking at maybe a 1 in 4 chance, about a 25-30% chance across most of that area. Maybe you get out into Currituck on the beaches where we got a little bit more moisture. Maybe it potentially could be an area we see a little bit more snow. So here's your potential timing right now. You can see really we're looking kind of that Tuesday night into Wednesday morning time slot is our best chance. And then from a temperature perspective, You can see really tomorrow, most areas are below freezing all day. And then even as we get into Wednesday, Wednesday night, temperatures getting down around 10. And again, with the winds picking up, looks like likelihood most areas probably getting into that cold weather advisory range. And then even into Thursday morning as the high sits over, so that could be the coldest morning temperature-wise with that big high right overhead. We could be seeing some single-digit readings. And then we do start to finally moderate on Thursday into Friday. We'll have to be watching to see what this develops out here on Thursday and Friday. Right now, some of the latest runs in the model really keep everything, kind of shunted off the coast and out to sea. So we may be having to evaluate this to see, what the chances are. Right now, the chances are pretty low probability-wise. We'll show that here in a second. So this is your wind chill forecast. You can see those wind chills really dropping off, Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. So that would really be kind of driving your cold weather advisory there, whereas the ambient temperature really is the driver as we get into Thursday morning. So you can see the winds on Wednesday, really picking up as that low along the coast tries to organize a little bit. We get a little bit of tightening of the gradient, and the winds really start to increase a little bit, and that's going to help drive those wind chill values down. Probability of precip, you can see, generally, maybe getting up to around 50%, 40% Virginia Beach. So even right now, what we're looking at with this potential system on Tuesday night, really not seeing high probabilities, for precipitation. Again, we're dealing with that situation of the low level dry air trying to be overcome in order to actually get precip to be able to reach the ground. So, we're really still not have a lot of certainty at this point on what we're seeing, with those probabilities only still being in that 40 to 50% chance range at the highest. So, and then as we get out to this next system, again, you're seeing even lower probabilities right now, 10, 20% chance. So, again, we'll be looking at that. But right now, even some of the latest runs are even suggesting that anything that happens there is still going to be shunted off the coast to the south and east due to this large area of Arctic high pressure. So from a marine hazard standpoint, we do have the small craft advisory in effect, and those stay in effect through early afternoon. And then we have the freezing spray advisory in effect through tonight. And notice this will likely continue into Wednesday. So this threat for the freezing spray along the coast, is going to persist probably for another, 36 to 48 hours. Wind gust with the small craft, generally speaking, we're seeing that mostly right now, 25 to 30 knot wind gust. Again, those will be kind of tapering off a little bit as the high builds in. Should see those wind speeds start to back off. And then your wave heights as well, though potentially will be dropping back as well once the winds start to diminish. Freezing spray advisory. Again, you're looking with these winds, the cold, really extremely cold air that's coming in, especially tonight into Wednesday. You're going to be seeing potential for ice buildup along the coast. So typically you got to get the temperatures kind of, 20 below, maybe even 15 below before we really start seeing buildup. But with this air mass, we will be able to do that. We'll be able to get that buildup potentially for vehicles. So anybody that's out on the water, please take that into consideration that you may be seeing some ice buildup if you're trying to go out on the water at this point, just because the air is so cold. Okay. There's your probabilities, basically small craft, and really that's this morning. That's really the biggest threat for that. Marine hazards really continue, and you're dealing with small craft now, then eventually the freezing spray really kicking off. And so by the time we get later in the week, as the high builds in, we start to see some of this diminishing capacity for marine hazards during the week. And that's partially because as the high builds overhead, things really start to kind of calm down a little bit. So you can see from your wind forecast for the next couple of days, kind of low right now, and then kind of diminishing a little bit on Tuesday, and then we ramp back up as that system's along the coast, see the winds pick up. So probably likely see another round of small craft conditions on Wednesday, and then your waves kind of go right with the wind. So as the winds diminish, the waves drop off, and we start to see them pick back up again, especially with that northerly to northeasterly flow, along the coast on Wednesday. There's your freezing spray potential picking up and increasing. All right, so that's everything I have to share today. We will be sending another briefing out by email at around 5 this afternoon, so you can be taking a look for that. If you have other additional questions, during this time period. The best thing is to email us at akqreport@noaa.gov. At this time right now, our phone lines are still down. We don't have phone connectivity. So again, the best way is to either email us or if you have a Slack account, please use that. Reach out to us via Slack. We are monitoring Slack and can answer any of the questions you may have there. Right now, we are planning to do another call tomorrow morning at 11. So please tune back in tomorrow and we will chat with you then. Thank you. Have a good day.